Okay, people, so this is episode 1 of Jessica's two-car garage. Now, it's a bit of a mess. Also, I live in an apartment complex, so any of the background noise you hear, sorry, can't do much of anything about that. But today, I'll give you a tour of the El Camino that was featured in the videos I uploaded just a day or two ago, depending on when this hits YouTube. As you can see, garage is a bit of a mess, and it's more like a one-car garage. If you see El Caminos as a car or a truck, hey, that's on you. It's totally you. So, with that, we'll give you a slight tour of my El Camino. I make sure I have my coffee with me. Can't have a day without that. So, here we go. The lovely little mess we have. No, those bags are not trash. They are recyclables. The more you watch, the more subscribers I get, less I'm gonna have to worry about having recyclables around to pay the bills. So, there's that. Nice little set of LT1 heads I gotta make sure not to trip over. And an engine. So, maybe you guys can start guessing what some of my other project cars are. As you can see, I've got some very nice 65 El Camino scripts on the side of her. I didn't really care for the bulky ones on the front fender, so those have been removed. And they're not coming back. It's just that simple. The only place I have to set the coffee is right next to what I laughingly refer to as a toolbox. Yeah, car's a little dark inside and none of the interior lights work. But that's besides the point. So, let's get this tailgate up because eventually I will be moving this Bestiasaurus out of the garage so I can work on the next vehicle. I have my tailgate script. It's not original to the car. That one is lost in space. Probably forever. Don't mind me. Just tripping over everything. So, on this side, you can see I've started some body work over the past, 2-something decades I've had the car. Well, she's deteriorated a little. Duct tape is to cover holes when it rains. This side I haven't really done much to. The other side I have been beating and banging all of the Bondo off. And I had to put this hood on. It's a 4-inch cowl induction, I believe. And that's so that, so frankly, I could have a hood that would shut with the motor that's in it. In case any of you are 73 to 77 nerds out there, there's my body plate. So you can see what she originally came with. And like I said, this is the relatively straight, almost all one color side. Other side, yeah, not so much. But that's why they call it a project car. And why we're here. So, as you can see, it's got some grease and some grime. You may have noticed earlier that I had put a rag down when I was sitting on the tailgate. No, that's not because I'm afraid of being dirty. That is simply because I took a transmission apart. That one. And it's slimy as all get out on the back end of that tailgate. So, I have my cutesy little trailer hitch. No, I'm not afraid of you guys knowing my license plate, because if you see me at a car show, you'll have it anyway. And it won't make a bit difference. I've got my window just kind of shoved in. And it's holding in there by faith and dumb luck right now. So, this is the side that I started chipping all the Bondo off on. As you can see, there's a fair amount of it. Can't quite see inside of the actual bed right now because of all my recyclables and a little bit of trash. But there's even Bondo in the bed. And right here, we have a fair amount of Bondo. So at one point in time in this poor car's life, somebody shot it with Bondo and then decided to shape it as an El Camino. And that's kind of, I think, what happened. I do have one dent I put into it. Right there. And that's, well, that's not how I found out about the Bondo. As you can see, sort of. There is that. That occurred when I was leaving a car show in Garden Grove. And I ran square into my dad's 64 Chevelle door that would happen to be open. Isn't that kind of, just great? As you can see, she's a holy. Quite a few holes in her. From what I understand, at one point in time, judging from the way the chrome strips were and the way that the back is up here, at one point in time she had a camper shell. That's long since gone, but the holes are still there. It did come with the side moldings, which is why it has a nice big gray stripe, because I personally didn't give a care for them. So they went away. It does have bottom edge moldings. They're in mostly good shape, but not, great. Getting back to Bondo. As you can see, yeah, there's quite a bit of it. And that's only what I banged off. Sitting in Orange County, if I can get my lazy keister to it, is a set of fenders that came off of another El Camino that I ended up processing. Key 4, I got it for free, and I took it apart, and the parts went all over. Only car I've done. Last one I'll do like that, because it's too much for paint. It's a nice set of 15-inch rally rims. I do have center caps for them. sneak peek at the engine. They are sitting over on that corner, along with some of the rest of my bits and pieces. So, there's those. Now, interior-wise, like I said, she doesn't have lights inside. Why? I don't know. But none of the lights seem to be working as far as accessories. So, interior lights, my underhood light, none of that really wants to work. So, we'll substitute with a drop light, which amply lives up to its name because it's been dropped on its head a few times. And that's not even the worst one of the ones I have. So, I had found an original floor jack. So if I ever need my bumper humper, well, there it is. Floors in this car are less than ideal. This side still has some carpet, though you can't tell beyond the rust. That side, however, if you can see the duct tape, well, that side behind the seat is pretty much entirely duct tape. I woved it, cross-threaded it, and then shot it with undercoating. There's not much in the way of any floor over there. There's no carpet. You can kind of see where I cut the carpet around the seat belt and around the back of underneath the seat there. I do still have my cubby hole. I don't think it's broken. I don't remember it being broken. But, well, between all the holes, you can actually, well, if I could get the camera to cooperate. That movement back there of the shadow, that's my fingers. You can see through this car in more than one spot. But I'll get to why it's important for me to keep it in just a little bit. Moving forward inside the cab. Again, me and the drop light don't get along. But hey, whatever. So, seat, while filthy and needing to be reupholstered, which is why it's got the cover on it, is a split bench seat. So it has the armrest in the middle that folds down and is still functional. The armrest is probably the best part of the interior on this thing, to be quite honest. I still have my little El Camino badge. Got my tack put up. I don't need a big one. I don't need an ugly shift light if I'm that retarded while I'm trying to shift the gears manually with an automatic. Well, I deserve to blow something up. So, otherwise, it's a fairly stock instrument panel. This is a 74, and it should have the metric, but many years ago, I took that metric out because I don't live in Canada or Mexico, so I don't need to know how many kilometers an hour I'm going. I need to know how many miles an hour. When I did that, I actually managed to keep the odometer the same, so that is true mileage. You will have to add a 1 in front of it because I know it rolled in my possession. So, there's a lot more than what it says on there. Any of you 73 through 77 nerds out there need places to put your gauges. Behind the dashboard, there is a very nice set of holes to run lines through. And that is exactly what I did. One side is oil pressure and one side is temperature. In a future video, we will be discussing how to change those because my temperature gauge doesn't work. And I don't know whether that's the sender or the gauge. It is an idiot-like car. The idiot drop light I have is not letting me really show you what it is. That is an accurate fuel gauge that took about 3 months to do. And I kept having to try and redo it. My brand new dome light cover for a dome light that doesn't work. And the door panels on each side are pretty well beat. Headliner is in fairly good shape, though because of the water, well, she's got some mold. Fortunately, that's not the only life it has. It does actually move, and it does actually drive every day. So, don't have to worry about that. My drop light out of the way, and we'll proceed forward to the engine bay. So, it's a bit dark. I'll grab my You Gotta Love It homemade drop light. She flickers a bit. That's not the camera. That's not your TV or phone or whatever you're watching this on. So, this is one 454, except, well, it's not, because it's about 30 or 40 over and comes out to actually 462 in total. My father and I built this. I wanted it to look something more like a 68-9 Camaro kind of look. So I have the divorced reservoir power steering pump assembly and nice headers. Friend gave me a set of nice Mickey Thompson's valve covers. They're Tulls. I don't need them. Doesn't have roller rockers, but who am I to turn down some nice cylinder heads? And thank you for that, Mr. Bob. Nothing fancy otherwise. The motor's sitting on small block mounts, so it sits higher than normal, which turns out to be great for weight transfer when I'm leaving the starting line, we'll say, because I don't want to promote something that you shouldn't be doing. There'll be no street racing promoting here. So, not much to that. Yes, it has a quarter jet on it. Why? Because I actually know how to rebuild them and make them work right. And this one has been on the car since, I'm gonna say, since 2010. We're doing January 17th, 2021. It works just fine. Maybe it needs an accelerator pump, but you know what? There's no reason for me to take it apart right this second. Car starts, car moves, and I don't have to worry about that. So we'll move on to the side that actually has light, and I don't have to hold that thing. There we go. Again, on this side, as you can see, no magic tricks. Valve covers are a little faded for the sticker, whatnot, but it does have the branding in the back for Chevrolet. These originally were hardened marine valve covers, and they were sitting on a boat. I guess it hasn't gotten very much further because, well, she's about the size of a small boat. And at 5,200 pounds, she probably outweighs quite a bit of the boats out there. Probably most of them are, you know, boats wouldn't float. So, GlassTech is the company I got this hood from. No, I don't have any sponsors. Those stickers are people who I've actually bought products from. And everybody has a K&N filter. But that's just the way things are, right? And as you can see, even though this is a 4-inch hood, well, that carburetor nut hits that hood. Like I said, it's on small block mounts, so the fan shroud for this ginormous propeller here is actually sitting, well, right there. It doesn't fit at all. Doesn't fit for nothing. So, can't use that. Air conditioning's long since been removed. I think I did that when I first put the big block in because, well, it isn't going to fit, and it did not like it worked anyway. So maybe I'll be looking for a set of heater boxes for a big block that, you know, doesn't have any air conditioning. I kept the original Camino badge on the nose and the original Chevrolet badge. I did add a 73 Chevrolet bow tie, and well, I colored it because I was bored. And I'm sorry if this is boring you, but hey, it is what it is, right? So, this is how I knew I was getting a big block in this car. My dad gave me a set of 454 badges off of a Caprice for Christmas one time. And getting into that, it is unfortunate that I do not have my father here with me so that he can help with the video. Even if he's just holding the camera, it would have been nice. I remove my tennis ball so that the hook doesn't gouge out your head. He used to always have a problem with that, with his head hitting on the top of that thing when he was working on the car with me. Now, I got this thing for $500 in 2001, July of 2001, to be honest and frank and actually to the point. So, I'm actually was working on my dad's 64 wagon when he got a phone call from his friend, said, "Hey, do you want an El Camino?" He asked me because I had to have something to go to car school with. So, I said, sure, I'll take a $500 El Camino. It happens to be how much my scholarship would be. Why the heck not, right? So, $500 in cash and an agreement to do his industrial engine, which was a Chrysler. And I had an El Camino to go to car school with, to and from. That would be from Garden Grove to Ontario in California. I'm filming from the beautiful city, okay, not so much, of Fresno right now, because that's where we moved to, hopefully to make it cheaper. Well, it wasn't that much cheaper. But it is what it is, right? So, $500 in 2001, I got this. It is my very first vehicle. sizing the dent right by the bumper. I haven't put any actual dents into it or crashed it, per se. I had a little incident a couple 10 years ago with a BMW where I hit the curb and bent that axle. That's kind of why it's been parked. That and the $1,000+ in registration fees that it's owed from the couple of years that it's been back. So there's all that to contend with. Now, I've wasted your time for about a half hour if you're still with me at this point, which, you know, you're probably not. And what you want to actually see and hear is its start. So, let's get to work on that. Now, I have to learn my YouTubing. I haven't started this thing in at least a month and a half. So, as you can see, it's ice cold. It hasn't been ran, hasn't been started, and hopefully it does start. But being in a nice enclosed garage, remember to adhere to the rules that I am, I'm going to have to set that fan up real quick so I don't choke and die. It does run a little rich. And not the person rich. Okay. Then plugged in. Turned on. And now they're exposed to the light of day. As a reminder, I live in an apartment complex, so what happens once I open the garage door isn't always up to me. Namely, I need to move this thing because I have a different car that I need to work on and get set up. Over rather easy, even for my expectations. I don't need to hold the battery down. Who needs that? It appears we have a bit of a backfire. That's new. But I did get the oil light to quit being in my face, as it does make oil pressure, but for some reason that thing was in my face, and, well, wouldn't shut off. Speaking of shutting off, she doesn't want to idle right now. Probably a bit on the, you know, rich side. Well, like I said, I don't know why she has that pop and bang in the exhaust system. That's new. Once I get some temperature in it, I will investigate that further. Yeah, she smokes a bit. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. That was the only plug wire I took off. Yeah, there's a good knot now. So, I'm not grabbing that by hand. Let's see. Probably shouldn't use the razor blade. I had some brand new extensions. That one's too long. Some of you might know what that goes to. So, later in the video, or not today probably, or not this video, I would be working on the car that this stuff belongs to, because it needs a blower motor. Normally my El Camino runs just fine. That's the wrong tool, it'll work just fine. But I had to replace a couple of things on the sensors, and I had the valve covers off. When I was doing that, so I did try to get a few of the plug wires off. And like I said, I know that carburetor's been sitting forever, and I know it needs an accelerator pump. At least. But that's fine. Round 3, fight! But she's still being picky. Okay, okay, I talked so much even my phone camera got sick of my stuff. So, now it's sitting up against the window. We're back to, let's try and get this thing out of the garage and into a parking spot so I can move on with what I need to do on the other cars. The window didn't work. It bounced right away, right off the edge. So, hope you guys had fun being holy and going from the ground up. Here she does move. And mind you, I'm short in this thing, so is pretty much where limits of what I can see are what I can see. And then you factor in that hood scoop and I really can't see crap. You get a little bit of a tour of my apartment complex here. Seems the engine back's moving around a bit. Good thing we have the tailgate up. Off in the distance, you might see another pain in the ass that, well, you'll see me bitch and complain about later. As I'm sure I'll have to work on it at some point. So let's get this thing landed. What do you say? Somebody was nice enough to leave the trash door open, so go around it. There's a curb. Like I said, I'm short. Let me show you the gravity of the situation. This is literally at my eye height. If it's over there, I can't see it. And if I want to see in front of me, well, I have to flex my back, which doesn't like it. So, I do get a nice view of the air cleaner, which is nice because that way I don't have to worry about seeing if I have a fire. I can see it. Like I said, it is a tilt column car. And no, she's not that noisy. She can be a lot noisier. We're going to pull her back because she's not quite in the spot. What do I mean by she can be noisier? Well, as you can see, it has cutouts. So if I truly wanted to be that person, I could be that person. Whenever you have a hot rod and you're not sure whether it's going to diesel on you or not, shouldn't at this RPM, but foot on the brake, make sure it's in gear, and you can shut her off and she won't diesel. If you do this though, do very much make sure that you push on your car and you hear it click into park. Yeah, at 5,200 pounds, she's not going anywhere right now. So, that is the El Camino. Let me get her all locked up because I need to start work on the next battleship. Right there. Alright guys, I'm gonna get that battleship pulled around. Stuff be making noise. Well, I get that battleship right there moved around, and then start work on the blower motor on it. Alright, after I put the window back in my El Camino here. Alright guys, take care, and be safe and happy motoring. And have a good day.